The Galactic Hunting Commission had one rule that every sentient species agreed upon. The kill quota existed for a reason. Take your time. Follow protocol. Don't rush the sacred tradition of proving your worth as a predator among the stars. Most civilized beings spent 3 to 5 standard years completing their required 10 apex predator eliminations. The Vleraxians? 7 years on average. The Kepchali? 9, if they were particularly cautious, which they always were. Then this human girl showed up. I'm Grix, by the way. Senior Administrator for the Outer Rim Hunting Territories, which is a fancy way of saying I push papers and watch idiots try not to get eaten. 20 cycles I've held this position, and I've seen every type of overconfident rookie walk through those doors. But nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, prepared me for Kayla Winters. She strolled into my office on a Tuesday morning wearing boots that had seen better days, a jacket covered in unidentifiable stains, and a smile that made my 3 stomachs clench with pure, unfiltered dread. "Hey there," she chirped, slapping her registration pad on my desk with enough force to make my morning CF splash over the rim. "I'm here to sign up for the hunting quota. How's it going?" I blinked at her with all 4 eyes. "You understand the requirements, yes? 10 apex predators from the designated danger zones. Most species take years, yeah? I read the brochure." She waved her hand dismissively. "Super boring, by the way. You guys really need to work on your marketing. Maybe add some graphics? A testimonial or 2. This female was maybe 20 standard years old. Max humans were still considered a newer species to the Commission, having only joined the galactic community 40 years prior. They came from some nightmare planet they called Earth, but the initial reports suggested they were mostly harmless. Aggressive, sure. Resilient, definitely. But predators? The jury was still out. Right. I pulled up her file, hoping to find some reason to deny her application. Sadly, everything checked out. Your medical clearance is approved. Your combat assessment scores are... Wait, these can't be correct. What's wrong with them? It says here you killed a Thraxian sand ripper with your bare hands during the simulation. Oh, that. She laughed, actually laughed. Yeah, the machine broke halfway through, so I just improvised. Turns out, if you jam your arm down their throat far enough, they have this really sensitive gag reflex thing. Who knew, right? I did not get paid enough for this. Look, Miss Winters, Kayla's fine. Kayla, the hunting territories are extremely dangerous. Even experienced hunters approach them with caution and proper planning. Perhaps you should consider, I'll take the weekend package. She tapped her datapad, transferring the deposit before I could finish my sentence. Drop me in Sector 7. I hear the Void Stalkers there are pretty gnarly. Sector 7? That's a red zone. We lost 3 Kepchali hunting parties there last month. Perfect. Her grin widened. Sounds like they need some pest control. What could I do? Her paperwork was valid. Her deposit cleared. And technically, nothing in the commission bylaws prevented a participant from being catastrophically stupid. I processed her request with the enthusiasm of someone scheduling their own funeral. You'll be dropped Friday at dawn. Extraction window opens Sunday at dusk. That's 48 hours. Most hunters use that time to set up base camp and scout the area. Cool, cool. She was already heading for the door. I'll bring back some souvenirs. You need to survive first. She shot me a thumbs up, which I'd learned was a human gesture of confidence, and disappeared into the corridor. I immediately contacted my supervisor. We're about to have an incident. He didn't believe me, of course. They never do. Friday morning came too quickly. I stood in the observation bay, watching the dropship descend into Sector 7's crimson jungles. Standard protocol required me to monitor all active hunts, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't morbidly curious about how long this human would last. The betting pool in the office had her dead within 6 hours that I gave her forward at the dropship doors opened, and Kayla Winters stepped onto soil that had killed countless experienced hunters. She took a deep breath, stretched her arms above her head like she was preparing for morning exercise, and said into her comm unit, "All right, Grix, my dude. Where are we starting? There's a water source 2 clicks north. I'd suggest." A roar echoed through the jungle. Something big. Something angry. Something that had probably already picked up her scent. Ooh, was that a Void Stalker? She sounded excited. Genuinely, terrifyingly excited. They're supposed to be, like, 12 feet tall, right? 14, actually, and incredibly territorial. You need to move. Now. Nah, I'm good. She pulled out a knife .1. Single. Knife. What are you doing? Hunting. The creature burst through the tree line, all teeth and claws and murderous intent. A apex predator that had evolved to kill anything foolish enough to enter its domain. Kayla Winters smiled. Then she charged straight at it. What happened next would haunt my dreams for years to come. The Void Stalker never stood a chance that I watched through the drop ship's external cameras as this human, this tiny bipedal nightmare from Earth, slid under the creature's first swipe like she was playing some kind of demented game. She drove that knife into the soft tissue under its jaw, rode the thing like a bucking transport animal, and then, I kid you not, she used its own momentum to flip herself onto its back. Yeehaw, she screamed into the calm. That's not how hunting works. I sputtered. Says who? She twisted the blade. The stalker collapsed with a ground-shaking thud. 1 down, 9 to go? This is actually kind of fun. Fun. She called killing a creature that had ended 3 separate hunting parties fun, that I pulled up the betting pool and sadly crossed out the 6-hour marker. Several of my colleagues owed me drinks now, though I wasn't sure I wanted to collect on a bet this disturbing. Kayla, please, just set up a shelter and rest. You've already proven yourself. Rest? Dude, it's only been like 30 minutes. I heard rustling through the calm, followed by what sounded like her rifling through supplies. Besides, I brought sandwiches. Can't let them get warm. Hey, do you guys have those Razorback Serpents in this sector? The ones with the venomous tail spikes. Yes, and they hunt in packs of 20. Avoid them at all costs. Sick. I'm gonna find them. She disconnected. I sat there, staring at my console, questioning every life choice that had led me to this moment. Then I did what any responsible administrator would do. I called my supervisor again. She killed a Void Stalker in 4 minutes. That's impossible. I watched it happen. She's now actively searching for Razorback Serpents. The ones that killed High Commander Threx last year. The very same. There was a long pause. I'm sending a rescue team. She won't get on the ship. I already know it. I was right, of course. When the rescue team arrived 6 hours later, they found Kayla sitting on a pile of 17 dead Razorback Serpents, eating a sandwich and looking mildly annoyed. Dude, I said I was fine, she complained over the comm. Tell your goons to back off. I'm working here. The rescue team captain, a decorated Vloraxian veteran named Prex, sent me a private channel message that consisted entirely of panicked breathing and the words, "What is that thing? That's a human. Humans don't do this." Apparently, this one does. By Saturday evening, Kayla had killed 8 apex predators. 8. She took a brief nap under a tree, ate another sandwich, and then went looking for numbers 9 and 10. I stopped sleeping, stopped eating, just watched the monitors, waiting for reality to make sense again. It never did. Sunday morning, she found a mating pair of Titan claws, the rarest and most dangerous predators in Sector 7. These creatures had armor plating that could withstand plasma fire, claws that could shred reinforced steel, territorial instincts that made them attack anything that moved. Oh man, a 2-for-1 special. Kayla's voice crackled through the comm. Kayla, no. Please. I'm begging you. Those are extinction-level dangerous. You worry too much, Grix. Has anyone ever told you that? Literally everyone tells me that. And it's because people like you exist. She laughed. That same carefree sound that I'd learned to associate with impending chaos and property damage. Tell you what. After this, I'll come back and let you buy me a drink. You look like you need, several drinks. I need medication and therapy. The fight lasted 20 minutes. 20 minutes. She used explosive charges, that same knife, a broken tree branch, and at one point, I'm pretty sure she bit one of them. When the dust settled, both Titan claws lay dead, and Kayla stood between them, covered in blood that probably wasn't even hers, making a victory sign with her fingers. 10. That's 10, baby. Do I get a trophy or something? I just stared at the screen. My assistant, a young Kepshali named Vosh, had fainted approximately 40 minutes ago. The entire observation bay had gathered to watch, and nobody spoke. We couldn't. Words had lost all meaning. The extraction ship picked her up Sunday evening, right on schedule. When she walked back into my office Monday morning, still wearing those same boots and that bloodstained jacket, I had her completion certificate ready. Congratulations, I said flatly. You've set a new commission record. 48 hours. Previous record was 11 months. Cool. So about that drink. I looked at this human, this absolute terror in a deceptively small package, and made a decision. The bar. Tonight. 7 cycles. And you're explaining to me how your entire species isn't the most dangerous thing in the galaxy. She grinned. Oh, Grix. We're not the most dangerous thing from our planet. We're just the ones that learn to use tools. That night, over drinks that I definitely needed, she told me stories about Earth. About creatures called sharks and bears, and something called a hippo. About storms that could level cities and oceans that could swallow continents. About a world that spent every single day trying to kill its inhabitants, and how humans just adapted. So yeah, she finished, sipping something bright blue that I'd warned her was toxic to most species. A weekend hunting trip? That's basically a vacation for us. I filed my resignation the next day. Not because I hated the job, but because if one human could do that in 48 hours, I didn't want to be around when others figured out they could. 2.3 months later, I heard Kayla had joined the Galactic military. Her file was immediately classified at the highest level. Smart move? Honestly, terrifying, but smart.